This is a preview number one, my Rip Ford broadcast, which I hope to deliver before New Year's or thereabouts. This is what I call part of my Sword and Pen series, which I've been working on since roughly 2010 or thereabouts. And there will be some old timers who remember my initial broadcast on John S. Rip Ford in the old Stumble In radio show. I did a series on him. This is more in depth, more put together set. In that set, I basically rambled on with no notes or background, and after a hard day of pouring concrete or something. This one, I've been working on the Sword and Pen series for some time now, which I intend to profile the lives of American heroes, often forgotten or obscured by time. Individuals like John Salmon Ford, who may well be the best role model for men today who are seeking a merger or a coalescence of intellect and action. And his life and history are virtually unknown today. There's no statues of him to pull down, but he was a leading figure and a champion of old Texas in each of its tumultuous and transitory periods. And first, he was active, a hero of the old Texas Republic. He was uh, he was a active member of the Texas Rangers when Texas was a state, and he was also very active in the history of Texas when it was an occupied territory during the Reconstruction period. Ford is forgotten today. There are no films or novels, or very few novels. There are a few novels about Confederate Fiddle comes to mind, about his exploits. The only book that is generally available to the public are, there are a few books, but the main one is Ford's own memoirs, edited by a Marxist plagiarist by the name of Stephen Oates. And this by itself is hardly representative of Ford's long and illustrious career, not to mention his large body or volume of writings. So Ford was by turns a doctor, a lawyer, a journalist, a surveyor, a Texas Ranger, an Army officer, a general officer in the Confederate Army, a politician, a historian, and I might add, a member of the Knights of the Golden Circle at one point, and mercenary in the Mexican military. So this is a precursor to the Ford broadcast. He was a very fascinating personage, and I will be doing this broadcast only once, and I'm actually going to take it down after a couple of days. And I'm not going to put it up on Patreon or anywhere else. Eventually, I used to think I would find an audience. Now I realize I'm not going to find an audience. However, I must explain that in the circumstances we now find ourselves in, that the reason there is no audience is that young people who should be finding out about their future heroes are not going to. And being as how everyone is on a date with doomsday in the near future, I think it's a good opportunity to force them to see the type of individual they might have become on their way to the gallows. So this is why I'm continuing to bring these individuals, these heroes to the forefront and make you view my content. Because even, and at least in this instance, you may, obviously you are a defeated middle-aged brokey if you post on the forum. And if you're posting on Tunis Bay or one of the other small uh, groups or forums, you're a young homosexual brokey. And either way, you're not going anywhere in life. You're never going to amount to anything. And, obviously everything is terrible for you. So I think I can compound the misery of your existence by bringing forth these individuals who surmounted their circumstances to remind you of what you could have become had you not been afraid of the consequences. By extolling these heroes who faced much greater odds than you do, more valiantly, and did not run from them, and did not run from the consequences of their actions. So you have to deal with these people being brought to your attention. So I think the advantage of doing this particular broadcast will make everyone's lives more miserable, and that is my primary goal in bringing it to this particular audience. Obviously, it would be nice if there were a lot of, homeschooled kids or whatever kids that you could bring this up to and basically sell a lot of young people, be they parents or children, on the concept and the necessity of the cultured thug in the immediate future. However, we don't have that audience. We have the audience we have, and we're going to work with what we have. And God wants you to be miserable, and we're going to do our best to do the will of God in this circumstance. So, I have quite a lot of content on Ford. I'm looking forward to unveiling it. There are a couple of good lectures on YouTube, but I think they will fall short of being as good as mine because the speakers in those broadcasts were closed. And so each broadcast, I'm thinking in the next one that I'll be doing it just in biker shorts and combat boots and what was the headdress? I don't know. I might just do a bandana. Dressed a little short right now, but that is the primary goal for the near future: is to perform this and to perform it with a certain amount of energy that a lot of these individuals cannot muster. So it can stick in your mind whether you want it to or not. You're going to hear my sonorous voice buzzing around in your brain, reminding you of what could have been, or what these individuals did, and remind yourself that you will ever be a lesser individual. And I don't think this stings enough with a lot of people, especially the younger guys, but hopefully it will sting adequately to drive you to seek solace with a heroin needle or something else, and, something, even something even worse. So, a crocodile, maybe crocodile will do just fine. So, these broadcasts are upcoming. I'm looking forward to doing them. I'm looking forward to doing this broadcast on Ripcord, and very excited about it. So I don't know if it'll be tomorrow night or over the weekend or in the near future, but we're going to get it done. So that's the conclusion for tonight. That's the last time I'm going live tonight. Hail Victory. And we're going to call it a night.